Government says it is, quote, appalled by reports that Israel has fired on United Nations bases in southern Lebanon. On Thursday, 2 peacekeepers were wounded when an Israeli tank fired on UN facilities in the south. 2 more peacekeepers were injured in a separate explosion earlier. Meanwhile, rescue workers are searching through rubble after 2 Israeli airstrikes hit central Beirut on Thursday. Lebanon's health ministry says the attacks, which came with no warning, killed at least 22 people and injured 117 others. Israel has not yet commented. Meanwhile, Israel said Hezbollah fired more than 190 projectiles from Lebanon into Israel on Thursday. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Do you have a healthcare question but not sure who to ask? Contact HSA's Patient Call Center to speak to one of our experienced clinical team members. We are here to answer your questions and help guide you through your healthcare journey. Need to make an appointment? Our team can help. Contact HSA at 949-8600 or email info@hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. To remind those of you who are just joining us that we have the CEO of Caribbean Utilities Company here in the Cayman Islands, Mr.Richard Hugh, and we have Dr. Cletus Bertin, who's the executive director of the CARILEC. On the line, Ms. Susan, is he still there? No, we have lost him again, but we're going to try to reconnect with him for some closing comments. Meanwhile, Mr. Hugh is in the studio, and we're going to talk about his expectations again for the conference, and he can remind our listening and viewing audience of who can attend. If you want to register, for the conference, how do you go about doing that? The conference will take place from the 20th until the 24th of October as well. Mr. Hugh?
Yeah. So the best way to register is to go online to the carilec.org website, and all of the information will be there. It promises to be very exciting. Like I said, we have a very dynamic and distinguished speaker who will open with a keynote address on Sunday, and then from there some interesting sessions both on technology, on regulation, very, very interesting topics for people who are interested in the energy industry. Mm-hmm. We are happy to host it. From time to time, the members have to step up. It's a lot of work and some cost hosting these conferences. Mm-hmm. But it promotes that regional learning, collaboration, and integration, so we can help each other do what the utilities have a mandate to do, which is to serve the public better. So that the utilities, in my view, is a key membership, and we have all of the supporting partners, the associate members who supply us, help us, provide the service to the public, and also the independent power producers who sell to, energy to utilities, and the utilities again deliver this, transmit and distribute the energy to the customers, the general public. Mm-hmm. So it's we also like the networking. I can say personally, it's not often, maybe once a year, we get to see most of the CEOs together, and at all levels, the CFOs get together as well, and we're fairly unique, and in the region we're not as anonymous as CEOs say in North America would be for electric utilities, because the cost of energy in our region is high. So most people know who their CEO of the utility is. So we get together and share the challenges, how share solutions, and and there's also some comradeships there as well. So
okay. A couple of things. We have Dr. Bertin back on the line as well. But from CUC's standpoint, your company has always been recognized as one of the leaders as far as the employment of Caymanians are concerned. Also being innovative in terms of what you do. And can you speak and the service that you provide when we look at other jurisdictions, the continuity, of service, the ability to be back online when something goes wrong. You've been lauded for that. How have you been able to achieve such successes?
Well, our customers, the industries we serve, demand high reliability. And so if the jurisdiction of Cayman is going to be successful, we have to provide that highly reliable service. Taking it to a CARILEC level, we share information with the other utilities as to reliability performance, safety performance, financial performance, everything. It's and we learn from each other. But that is the goal of every utility, is to deliver reliable, safe, reliable, and cost-effective solutions for electricity consumers. And now the fourth leg is the sustainability, and that's a big focus. But as I mentioned earlier, sustainability with renewables also means lower cost, so it achieves dual objective, and we just have to make sure it does not compromise reliability. One of the presentations we'll be doing is looking at how you resource plan now. Before, it was fairly easy. We need more. We anticipate growth in electricity demand because there's a hotel going up or a new bank building or whatever it is, and we call our business partner, we need a diesel generator set, and lo and behold, 14, 15 months later, it's installed. Well, now it's, okay, what type of renewable? How does it fit in? It's not going to be working at night. How do we back it up? And so we really now in planning. Before, it was like putting together a 20-piece puzzle. Now you have to put a 1,500-piece puzzle together. And any missing piece in that puzzle means someone's without electricity. So it's more complicated, and we've done a tremendous amount of work on system planning, and we'll be presenting to our colleagues in the region what we've done in terms of resource planning. We did one of these integrated resource plan back in 2017, and that's what sort of informed how much and what type of energy we need going forward, and it called for we were looking at up to 60% renewables by 2037, I think it is. And now we have done a more extensive study in terms of details for over the next 3 to 5 years, what is required, and it's calling for 100 megawatts of solar plus storage and 36 megawatts of backup diesel supply.
Wow.
But we're looking to switch also. Right now, we are out to the market with a request for proposals from, I think we have 8 or 9 credible suppliers, some of them already in the region, to supply natural gas to the island, which is a lot cleaner burning fuel, lower costs. We're hoping we'll see when the bids come in, and more stable price. And it also gives us diversity and in supply so that we can use diesel or natural gas, because the engines will be able to switch from one to the other. But we are hoping mainly to be on natural gas. And if we have a supply issue, then we can go back to the diesel on the short term.
Sounds promising. Dr. Bertin, I want to give you an opportunity for some closing comments. We have about 4 or 5 minutes left in the show.
Oh, thank you. I'll only take a minute just to thank Richard, you and his team at CUC in hosting this CARILEC conference. They've been tremendous in terms of cooperation, collaboration. We've worked seamlessly with our counterparts and colleagues at CUC, and for that we want to, for the record, give thanks, and really looking forward to the sessions coming up from next Sunday, the 20th, and really looking forward to participation from the Cayman Islands, from across all sectors are invited to participate in the conference. We'll be focusing on all things energy, renewable energy, and in addition, a spotlight on corporate governance. On Wednesday in particular, we have a training session by an external facilitator, Dr. Ron Sukram, from the University of West Indies Global School of Business, specializing in corporate governance. So really, we're looking forward to the sessions coming up. And thank you for having me this morning on the program, and hope to see you soon at the event.
Thank you also, sir. Question, will this be your first time visiting the Cayman Islands?
Actually, I must say, with some degree of shame, yes.
Well,
I've been to almost every single Caribbean island. I think Cayman would be the one of the last few that I am yet to visit, and so that's why I'm very excited also about this upcoming event.
Okay, and we hope you enjoy your stay here as well.
Thank you so much. I'm sure I will.
Thank you. Mr. Hugh?
I look forward to seeing you, Dr. Bertin, in a couple of weeks.
Great.
Okay, so CUC, extremely excited, to host this. You said on your, was it your 50th anniversary that you?
Yeah, in 2016, I think was the last conference that we hosted.
Okay, yeah. And I want to give you an opportunity for some closing comments as well. Anything else that you want to say to our listening and viewing audience? They're always curious to know, what's happening with CUC. We in the month of October, so we'll be getting to those soon to the winter months as well. We should see some reduction in those bills as well. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, definitely. One of the points I wanted to mention with the region is that one thing that we compare also is the consumption level of consumption. Mm-hmm, so CUC is by far the highest when it comes to average residential consumption of electricity at annual monthly average of over 1,200 kilowatt hours. Mm-hmm. So I think the second largest is about 600 kilowatt hour.
Wow.
So consumption is a big driver of the cost for household expenditures, and this is the air conditioner basically is the culprit. And in the cooler months, we see less air conditioning use, and some people, bills go in half. And so it's always a good time of year for electricity consumers when the heat's gone. But it drives an important point that we have to build more energy efficient buildings. It is getting hotter every year. We're aware of that. Climate change. Last year were record temperatures in May. This year, those records were broken. And what we are witnessing is that the homes are not, and commercial buildings are better, particularly the new buildings. But the homes are still being built without proper insulation. And so the heat is pouring into the homes, and the air conditioner is running continuously to pump the heat out, and still is not able to keep up with it. So that is bad from a consumption perspective, electricity consumption, but also really bad on the wear and tear on the equipment. So the equipment isn't lasting as long, and it's all for the sake of spending a bit more, maybe 10% more on the home to put insulation in the walls, and in particular in the roof. So we're still seeing, and it's amazing to me in this day and age that we are still seeing developers promoting homes, targeting the Cayman population without a big banner up there saying energy efficiency. Because the dollar spent up front when you buy a new home, you're going to be cash flow positive from day one, meaning you may be paying a bit more on your mortgage, a few dollars more a month, but you're cutting your electricity bill in half. And we at CUC, certainly myself, have taken it on over the past year to speak to as many people as possible, people in influential positions, and I do believe I'm hearing good news that things may be moving forward later this year with some energy efficiency standards for homes. So that is going to make a big difference, but not for those today who are struggling, because they'll have to go back and retrofit. But certainly we need to start as of today for any new homes that they're properly insulated. And then we get into the proper installation of air conditioners as well. That, first of all, that they're high SEER, seasonal energy efficiency ratio, and we would recommend 16 or higher. The days of 10 and 12 SEER are over.
Yep.
And that it's properly installed and sized and installed. So, for something that's such a big part of your household expenditure, there should be some standards around that. You shouldn't just have someone saying, hey, I can buy this and put it together, and they have no idea what size ducting to work, what tonnage to put in, and all of these things really matter in terms of you living comfortably in a comfortable environment within your home, but not paying more than you should pay to cool that home.
Yeah, and one last thing, this conference will, of course, produce some economic spin-off for the Cayman Islands as well in terms of spending, for those persons who will come to the island to attend.
Yeah, definitely. And also, they may come back. We heard Dr. Bertin says, it'll be his first visit. My experience with hosting the CARILEC conferences is my colleagues all say, oh, when you're going to host another one, they love coming here. So, it's really good to showcase the country as well as the company. And that's one of the reasons that we do participate in hosting conferences.
Excellent. Mr. Hugh, I want to thank you very much. Wish you all the success in hosting the conference as well. And thanks for being here.
Thank you very much, O.C., for having us this morning.
Folks, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we will have, I believe Dr. Steve McField should be in the studio. We talked to him last night or yesterday evening. So hopefully he's here. Don't change that dial. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Did you know that you can send money transfers to financial institutions anywhere in Jamaica with JN Money?
You mean I can send money straight to my account and cut out the middleman?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. You send your own money to your own account, giving you peace of mind that the money is in your account.
JN Money Transfers to Financial Institution is another convenient service offered by JN Money. You can have this done from any JN Money location. Deposit your money straight to your account without the hassle of asking someone to do it for you. JN Money Transfers to Financial Institutions, making life easier.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers, a compounding story.
I don't think people realize how pain creeps into your life. It has a way of robbing your strength. I really don't like taking prescription medication orally.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. They understand.
When it comes to compounded medication, it's personal. So whenever there's a problem with some medication or treatments that's not working right, then a physician will call me and say, hey, they're having bad side effects from this medication.
Compounding Pain Cream changed the game. made special for me significant pain relief in the form of a cream. That is a new experience for me.
It's changed his life.
It worked.
Ask your pharmacist or healthcare provider about compounding at West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Call 914-6449.
Brand Source is putting the sizzle into the season with their fall cooking sale. Fall into savings with 15% off on all cooking products, including gas and electric ranges, cooktops, microwave ovens, built-in wall ovens, and speed ovens. Luxury brands included. Don't miss out. Shop now and save 15% on cooking products before this offer ends on October 31st. Cook up your best dishes with Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Call 623-5000 for more details.
At Kirk's Home Center, we can make your life much better. We got it all together. We got a great deal in store for you. From cookware to stereos, from power tools to plumbing supplies. Yeah, we got the best goods with the best price and a service to make you smile. At Kirk's Home Center, we got a great deal in store for you.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We will have Dr. McField in the studio pretty soon. Meanwhile, we have a few birthday shout-outs that I'm going to share with you as well. So we've been asked to send birthday wishes to Brandon West, coming from your mom who loves you so much. So happy birthday to Mr. Brandon West. Also, happy birthday to Curtis Connor. Love coming from the family. And what else do we have? Any more here? Okay. So, Doc, can give you an opportunity to settle in your chair. Ms. Susan, there may be one voice note. You may want to check that out as well. So, Doc, good to have you here. Short period of time, but I'm going to let you cover, what you want. You were in contact yesterday, and there are specific things that you want to talk about. Some new revelations, recent revelations, as well. Are you hearing on our headset? You're
Yes,
hearing it?
I'm hearing.
Yep.
Yes.
So good morning, welcome.
Good morning to you.
And tell our audience we have about 7 minutes before we go to a commercial break. So you can tell them what it is that you want to discuss, and we might be able to get into a little bit before we go to our first commercial break.
Well, I want to discuss several things. The first is the the latest court judgment on the immigration case, immigration matter. A few days ago, the Grand Court ruled that on an appeal from my board, from the appeal tribunal, that on the question of whether or not people had the right to the right to family life. Now, on this radio station, for months, I think years now, I have been stating that there is no right to family life. There's no right to family life here. The right to family life comes out of the European Convention of Human Rights, Article 8, that says that if you live in a country but you have family, that you have a right to family life. And I think that is embodied in Section 9 of our Constitution, of our Bill of Rights. Now, the appellant said that he had a right to family life because the board, the appeal tribunal had sided or upheld the decision of the board below, the decision that he did not qualify for permanent residence because he did not have the amount of 110 points to qualify. And so one of the defenses that he put up was that, okay, that might be so, but you can't tell me to leave because I didn't have the amount of points, and I think and I don't know, and you can't go back on an employment permit now because you have exhausted your term limit. Well, I have been saying all along that there's no right to family life, and the courts have come out and what the courts have come out and said. The court have said that yes, there's no right to family life. That the right to family life is not an absolute right. It's a qualified right.
Yeah.
and you have to measure the right to family life according to the interest of the state. The state also has a right to say whether or not your presence in their state is detrimental to the state or is not compatible with the state. And as long as the state makes that decision and it is reasonable and comfortable in a democratic society, that you don't have any right to family life. And so that now has been settled. I think the other point that was, I can't remember the other point that was made now, because I was coming over here in that's a short time. The other point that the court made was that I can't remember the other point now. So
I think there was a part there that even if the individual had gotten the points that they were seeking, that they still would not have reached the 110 points. But the important one was the pensions.
The pensions.
Contributions that they wanted to use as in factoring the person's income or investment.
Yeah, you have to show that you have a property that is valued, that investment property worth $50,000 or in a company. And you get so many points for having a salary and savings.
Right.
And so he was saying that his pensions counted as his pension counted as to satisfy one of those criteria. And the court says no, your pension, and in fact in the schedule it says that the pension does not qualify as a monetary unit to be counted as in the point system. So what he was saying, you have to take my pension into account. But the courts rightly said you're not entitled. It is at the time that you made the application that you have to show that you're qualified, and a pension is something that you're entitled to. You may be entitled to get in the future, and you may never get it in the future.
You don't know how much.
You don't know how much it's going to be there in
Yeah.
the future for you, because you may use your pension before that even. So those are the points. But the most important point that I would like to share with your audience is that all of these cases where they have stymied the immigration system, and those criminals that have got married here and so forth, and they have and they have been to serve a lot of time in jail for robbery and defilement of women and so forth. And then they've got married and say, you can't send me back to my own country because I have the right to family life now because I have been married, and so forth. And we have been allowing them to stay. That now has been settled. That there is no right to family life. That family life is not an absolute right; it's a qualified right, and that and that the immigration can decide whether or not you meet the criteria for the immigration to decide whether or not they would allow you to stay because your right to family life has been tampered with, that has been affected. So it's not so hard to, it's not so easy to try to relate a legal judgment, to the ordinary public. But I try to do my best to do so.
And we'll go into more detail into that. What we'll do is we'll take the commercial break.
Yes.
And I'm looking to see if persons are interested in finding the case. What is it? What it is? The name.
Yes. Yes.
The title of the case itself. Folks, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, discussion with Dr. Steve McField will continue. Don't change that dial. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
You can now renew your driver's license or motor vehicle license online, and you don't need an ESID number. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Visit www.dvdl.gov.ky.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. Before I throw the mic back over to Dr. McField, we have a voice note that we're going to play. Ms. Susan?
Good morning, OC, and good morning to the Cayman Islands. OC, I hope you allow me the pleasure of wishing two amazing ladies in my constituency a happy birthday. Starting first with Miss Ellen Rose Douglas. Happy birthday to you. God bless you. I love you. Hope you have a wonderful day. And also to Miss Paula Blackwell. She's originally known as Paula McField. Most of us in our constituency know her as Paula McField, but she's married as a Blackwell. Special happy birthday to her as well. And I want to say, may the Lord bless them with many, many more years to come. Thank you so much, OC. Thank you, Cayman. God bless, and have a good day.
Okay, we want to thank Minister Brian for that. We also have another one here. This person wants to wish Mr. and Mrs. Devani and Tanisha James on their 5th wedding anniversary, which is tomorrow, Saturday the 12th. Says these greetings are coming from Ms. Ruth James and all of your friends and family. We love you, and may God continue to bless you always. Enjoy your special day. So, Doc, this and I'll give credit to where this is coming from. This is Mr. Alric Lindsay, who posted an article, and it says, Grand Court dismisses permanent residence appeal arguing infringement of the right to private and family life. Court says this is a limited right, not an absolute right. And he goes on to say that today, October the 9th, 2024, the Honorable Justice Hasif KC dismissed all grounds of an appeal by Julius Armstrong against immigration authorities. It was argued on behalf of Armstrong that his pension contribution should have been considered to determine his overall financial stability. Points ought to have been awarded for, and I quote, priority of occupation and his right to private and family life under Section 9 of the Bill of Rights was infringed or not properly considered. And I'll just give a little background to the case, which Mr. Lindsay also did. It says the background of the matter, as outlined by the Honorable Justice, is that 57-year-old Armstrong was born in Jamaica and came to the Cayman Islands in February of 1992 when he was 25 years old. Armstrong's primary residence is described as being in the Cayman Islands, although he was rolled over on at least one occasion and returned. That means that, his
term had come to
term
an end.
limit had come to an end and he had to leave.
Yes.
Armstrong's primary residence, in March of 2021, Armstrong applied to the permanent residency. This was refused 2 years later in March of 2023. Armstrong appealed to the Immigration Appeals Tribunal in March of 2023. The appeal was dismissed in November of 2023. An appeal was subsequently made to the Grand Court to challenge the decisions of the immigration authorities. The Honorable Justice was asked to consider all grounds of the appeal, including those set out below. And the grounds that set out was pension account should be included in his overall financial ability. No points awarded for priority of occupation. Right to private and family life was infringed. I believe that may have been the last. Yes. So those were the grounds of appeal. Now, my question for you, Doc. Client comes to you and says, here's a decision that was made. I am not happy with it, and I want to appeal it. As a litigator, do you look at the case first and advise the client whether or not there is any likelihood of a successful appeal, or do you simply take the instructions from your client?
That's what a good, honest lawyer will do. A good, honest lawyer will look at the case, analyze the judgment to see whether the judge had made any errors on the judgment, whether there was any errors on the face of the records, and so forth. And he would advise the client accordingly. Mm-hmm. And if the client insisted that he take the appeal, a good honest lawyer would say, I'm not going to take the appeal for you because my reputation would be at stake. Mm-hmm. Because you go before the appeal court, and the appeal court would in a decent way say, you know that there was no merit in this appeal, so we are wondering why you were before us. You know, we're wondering. We see that you read the case. Mm-hmm. Because they will ask you questions.
Yes.
And you see that there's no merit in this case. So why would you bring a case where there's no merit? You have a duty as an officer of the court to be able to tell the client, to analyze the matter and to tell the client what your opinion is, because that is how you become a good advocate. Mm-hmm. by analyzing the case and being truthful to your client. You don't just take the case because the client can afford to pay you. That's not how the system works. Mm-hmm. At least with the people that I associate myself with.
Okay. So
and he was also saying that there was no priority of
occupation. Yeah.
Well, the government has not set out any priority of occupation yet.
Well, what I'm going to get you to do is to summarize each of those points in terms of what I've provided you with my iPad there, and you may want to scroll up to the top, to the grounds of appeal.
Yes.
And go through them. But also for the benefit of our listening and viewing audience, can we talk about the various levels of decision making, in relation to this? So it would have been first the Status and Permanent Residency Board would have made a decision.
Yes.
That applicant was not satisfied with that decision, and the next stage would have been what?
The Immigration Appeal Tribunal.
Right, and in this particular case,
the Immigration Appeal Tribunal upheld the board's decision not to grant the permanent residency on the grounds that he didn't meet the 110 points.
And under the immigration transition law now, he
has the right to appeal to the Grand Court,
which is the stage that we're at.
And he still has the right to appeal again to the Court of Appeal.
Court of Appeal.
Yes.
If they, he first has to get the Grand Court's approval to appeal.
Yes, in some cases you have to get the Grand Court approval to appeal.
And then of course, the Court of Appeal would have to decide whether or not they're going to accept the appeal. And in that process, they would look to see whether or not there are any valid legal arguments that have been made or any errors that were made by the previous bodies
by the previous appeals court appeal bodies. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I should go to law school,
I keep telling you that it's not too late. When I was at law school in Canada, there was a man going to law school, and he was in his 60s, and he was in law school with his two sons, who had just finished their bachelors and come to law school, and he had spent 30-something years in the Canadian Army. And after he retired from the Army, he came to law school. He was in law school with us, so it's not too late.
Can you find that section that speaks to the right to family life? Because I think that's the one that you really want to place a lot of emphasis on, because we're seeing more and more use of it. I've seen on social media platforms when people talk about it, and there seems to be some misconception as to what this right to family life is all about. I tell you what we're going to do, Miss Susan. We're going to take our last commercial break now. That'll give us an opportunity to find that information. When we return, the conversation with Dr. Steve McField will continue. Please stay tuned.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers, a compounding story.
I don't think people realize how pain creeps into your life. It has a way of robbing your strength. I really don't like taking prescription medication orally.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. They understand.
When it comes to compounded medication, it's personal. So whenever there's a problem with some medication or treatments that's not working right, then a physician will call me and say, hey, they're having bad side effects from this medication.
Compounding pain cream changed the game. Made special for me. Significant pain relief in the form of a cream. That is a new experience for me.
It's changed his life.
It worked.
Ask your pharmacist or healthcare provider about compounding at West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Call 914-6449.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
Brand Source is putting the sizzle into the season with their fall cooking sale. Fall into savings with 15% off on all cooking products, including gas and electric ranges, cooktops, microwave ovens, built-in wall ovens, and speed ovens. Luxury brands included. Don't miss out. Shop now and save 15% on cooking products before this offer ends on October 31st. Cook up your best dishes with Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Call 623-5000 for more details.
Annually, the Family Resource Center leads the anti-bullying campaign Stood Up throughout the month of October. This year, the campaign's theme is #CyberKindnessKY. Pause before you post, and is aimed at raising awareness of the harmful impact of cyberbullying behavior and educating children on responding safely and empowering parents with effective parenting strategies to intervene against cyberbullying and victimization. Teens ages 15 to 18 years old and parents are invited to the Teen and Parent Safety Training being held on October 12th from 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Stay informed and keep young people safe. Registration is required. Email frc@gov.ky for more details on this and their other Stood Up campaign details.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Steve McField. We're discussing a recent Grand Court judgment on an appeal on a decision not to grant permanent residence. So very quickly, Doc, I'm going to share Section 9 of our Bill of Rights, because that is pivotal to this whole issue of family life.
Yeah, and Section 9, for your audiences, incorporates the European Convention of Human Rights, Article 8. That is embodied in Section 9.
In Section 9, right, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So it says that government shall respect every person's private and family life, his or her home, and his or her correspondence, except with his or her own consent or as permitted under subsection 3. No person shall be subjected to the search of his or her person or his or her property, or the entry of persons on his or her premises. Now here's the important part, subsection 3. Nothing in any law or done under its authority shall be held to contravene this section to the extent that it is reasonably justifiable in a democratic society.
Yes.
A, in the interest of defense, public safety, public order, public morality, public health, town and country planning, or the development or utilization of any other property in such a manner as to promote the public benefit. I believe that can be one of the arguments that can be used in relation to the beach as well, right?
Yes.
For the purpose of protecting the rights and freedoms of other persons, that's B, to enable an agent of the government or a public body established by law to enter on the premises of any person in order to inspect that would not, to
inspect those premises.
Yeah, to regulate, this is the important one.
Yes.
To regulate the right to enter or remain in the Cayman Islands. So what it's saying is that any law that has been created by the Cayman Islands to regulate the entry, the right to enter or to remain in the Cayman Islands does not violate the right to private and family life. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so Doc.
So that's it. So that was the argument. Now, if he had gotten through, if the government had, if the court had accepted that argument that there was a violation of his of Article 9 of the Bill of Rights, he would have gotten through, because he did not meet the requirements under the regular section that deals with the points system, under the point system.
Right, because
remember he only got 70 points.
Right,
and even he was saying that there was no, he didn't get a point for priority or for occupation.
Right.
Even if that had been so, he would only have gotten 88 points, because at 70 points, he was still 40 points below the standards to obtain the permanent residence. Yeah. He needed 110 points and he only got 70, so he was 40 points short. So my position has always been that the government has to decide at some point in time that if you only acquire a certain amount of points, that it would be impossible for you to obtain permanent residence under the point system, that you just can't, your appeal should not go any further. In other words, that should be a cutoff point where you should where your appeal should stop.
Unless there were other factors.
Unless there are other factors that you could find. And now the other factor that they have been using was the right to farm, to privacy and farm the life that was infringed. That now is closed. That doors has been closed.
And so this case now sets the precedent, for that in at least in these similar cases.
In these similar cases now, that if you get a certain amount of points and even if we could find grounds to allow you to increase points in other categories, that you shouldn't be able to appeal that, to clog up the system, because all it does is clogs up the system, allows you to stay longer in the country when you should not be entitled to stay longer in the country. That is the point that I am making.
Now, not having seen the full judgment,
yes.
Do you believe that the judge would have chastised the lawyers in because when I read this, not having a legal training, no legal mind whatsoever, I looked at it and I said, to myself, what sorts of arguments are being put forward here? Because it just didn't, it just didn't make sense.
Well, the economic benefit that people receive by being in this jurisdiction, working and being able to, and somebody said, I think it was Lord Graham, that said that you must understand that people can work here, they can send their money home, they can support their families and build their homes and their in the jurisdiction from which they arrive from. We can't do the same. So the economic benefits that are derived from being here working in the Cayman Islands are so enormous that they will pay any amount of money that seems to me to be able to get a lawyer to allow them to make an argument that you should be allowed to stay. So that's the position that I think. Now, whether or not the judge has criticized the entry of the appeal, I don't know. Some judges will do it. I don't know if this judge has done it, but I know that sometimes in the court of appeal they will jump on you quickly and they would say that to me sometimes. I remember Mr. Justice Carr would say to me, Mr. McField, have you read Section 66, paragraph 10b? And I said, no, my lord, I haven't said, if you had read that, your argument would probably be different, wouldn't it?
Yeah, because this argument that about the employment that he was in, exceptional employment or something like that, and the judge pointed out that there is no. Cabinet did not include that in the schedule, so you can't take that into consideration. It says that Cabinet may do this, but Cabinet didn't do it.
Yeah, priority employment.
Employment, yes.
Priority employment, to me, comes out of the old system of what did they call it? Key employment. Key employee. Yes. And I believe that they should completely take it out of the law.
Yeah,
that should be completely erased from the law.
Okay, we don't have a whole lot of time left, but I know you want to mention an article that was in one of the newspapers talking about
the beach
erosion and the owners of properties threatening or pointing out that
they may sue the government.
Because now let's get some clarity there. Now, would they be suing the government in relation to the length of time that it is taking for them to deal with the application that they have made to build the seawall? Because that would seem to be, to me, the angle that you go at in terms of public administration.
It's either that, Mr. For the record, or they're thinking about suing the government for giving them planning permission a permission in which they exercise and build to their detriment. It seems to me that is what it seems to me, because they would have to, because if you build on the beach, all those walls and so forth, all those structures, knowingly that it and with visible information that it has caused and will cause erosion of your beach and harm your property, then who you should be suing? Who you should be suing? So it's either they intend to sue the government for the government taking so long to make a decision as to whether they're going to replenish the beach for them, or they may be thinking about suing the government for giving them planning permission when the government knew or should have known, or it was reasonable foreseeable that if they had built the planning permission that they had gotten had been built, had allowed them to build a structure there, that it would cause them damage.
Yeah, well, I think the some of the facts in the case is that they had a wall that was built there before and it had been destroyed, so they were now seeking to rebuild that wall, but they had to get planning permission.
Yes.
And now with the planning permission that they are seeking, the requirements are that it should be some 130 feet distance as opposed to what it was previously.
180 feet something from the high water mark.
So it was so that was the issue. But again, the whole idea of suing the government, it would be an interesting case, depending
Very
on
interesting case
to see what grounds they would be suing under.
And this whole episode, this whole what has resulted from all of the weather, climate change, and all that sort of stuff, that demonstrates that our forefathers were correct from the beginning when they had no idea about climate change, but they knew what the sea would do. They knew the power of water, what they would do, and they never built their houses on that side of the road. They always built their houses on the other side of the road. And even when you go to many other countries, you cannot build your houses on the beach side. You have to build it on the other side. I noticed that when I go to Cuba, most of the structures are built on the other side of the road or far away from the sand, far away from the sea. And of course, the things that people do not want to talk about, and the things that they just slip to the side, is the decision that we made back in the 1980s of changing the building code, and to allow them to build only up to the vegetation line.
And we changed
that. What the vegetation line would be.
Yep.
That was the killer. That was the killer.
Mm-hmm. That definitely was, So
we are moving quickly into some changes that have to be made in the country, and it seems to me that some of the changes that have to be made is that the government has to actually direct or make a law that they have to pull down some of those structures, some of those walls that have been built close to the sea, to the water.
Mm. Now, I noticed in one of our publications today on the island that one of the property owners there has offered to donate to a fund, $3 million to a fund for the rehabilitation process, whatever that may be. There are those, like Lord Graham, who believe that these persons put themselves in that situation. You could argue that with complicity from the government or with the complicity with the legislation that was in place.
Yes.
And, how do you go about undoing that now? Should the burden be placed, all of the burden be placed, shouldered by the property owners, what should the government do about it, as well. And we see where the Minister Catherine Ebanks has, at least have established sort of cross-government committee to look at this issue. I guess at some point in time you're going to have to include the private sector as well to come up with some workable solution to the problem that exists. Now, one of the things is that, and I don't know whether or not these condos have taken advantage of it already, but one trade-off would be you're set back.
Yes.
You come closer to the road, but we give you the ability, then you can go higher. Go higher,
yes.
As a because we see, for financial gain, all of the other, or no, I shouldn't say all, but many of the other condos that are only 2 and 3 stories now deciding that they're going to go 10 stories. They're taking out, and they're paying good money to the current owners of those properties to go ahead and do that, as well. So, why not in this particular situation
and
as
the
well?
government gets good money too from the increased planning fees. And the problem is if you what was once a beach now, if you can only reach that, if you can only get there now by boat and 3 or 4 feet of water, it would be foolish, really foolish to try to bring sand from the Bahamas or someplace else to fill that void.
Yeah.
That would be very interesting.
Yeah.
I would love to see that.
That certainly would be, Doc.
Yes.
Doc, I want to thank you very much. We've been asked to extend happy birthday greetings to Miss Mandy Bernard. Miss Mandy, she is celebrating her 103rd birthday tomorrow, Miss Mandy Bernard. So greetings are coming from children, grandchildren, and all other family members. And I should add from right here at Radio Cayman as well, Miss Mandy Bernard, 103 years old, one of the nicest persons in the Cayman Islands, Miss Mandy Bernard. Kudos to her, and best of health, and enjoy your very special day, Miss Mandy. We've gone over the time, so no closing comments. I'll just encourage everyone to join Sterling Dwayne Ebanks at 12:15 for Talk Today. Doc, hopefully sometime, maybe if not next week, that we can do some more research on this particular case and come back and talk some more about it, see what the judge has to say, because this is precedent.
This is precedent
now for for the Cayman Islands,
especially for me.
It should make you and your members feel much more confident now in terms of the decisions that you make, and to know that it has already been addressed in through the courts as well.
Yes.
Yep. Folks, have a great weekend. Please stay safe. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these 3 beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record, proudly brought to you by
Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury.
And JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient.
Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama.
And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice.
If they are talking about us,
living in your head rent-free all this time,
we must be relevant.